What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen that's how it was going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. Got Chuck Schumer wants a 1-year extension of expiring Obamacare subsidies and the creation of bipartisan committee, urging Republicans to just say yes. One thing about it that I've learned, one thing about Chuck Schumer is that it's his way or no way. And that right there just goes to show you of his childish, ways that he has. I'm telling y'all, definitely does. Check it out right here.
Today, Democrats made an offer to the Republicans that they should not refuse. It said we can do both. We can extend the ACA tax credits for a year so that families will not lose their health insurance or have to pay a whole lot more for their health insurance, and reopen the government so that government workers can get paid and go back to work. We do both together. It makes eminent sense, and we are calling the Republicans bluff. You say you don't want to negotiate till after the government opens. Let's open the government, but at the same time, at the same moment, extend the ACA credits, and then we can negotiate. The ball is in the Republicans' court. They should take yes for an answer.
One thing about this is that I don't know why, and I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I'm sure many of y'all have too. And I've been sitting here wondering, and I get, when you go and people, say that, oh yeah, to care for this individual and to care for this person because they're going through it and they're this and they're that, and and I get the whole thing. Trust and believe, I'm one person that loves to see happy children, women, elders, and put them first in a sense, but one thing about it is that you literally they're pushing all of this for illegal aliens. And you literally have Americans that's truly going through a lot of things over the years. And it's just all about illegal aliens. And that's very, very odd to me. Then you got Chuck Schumer that thinks in every way possible that whatever he says goes. And that's not it. As y'all know, President Trump ain't going for it. You literally have here Chuck Schumer storming out of the room because, again, he doesn't get his way and doesn't like to hear what anybody has to say other than himself.
So for 1 year, people making millions of dollars would still receive these COVID-era subsidies?
The bottom line is the senator from Ohio ignores that 99% of people, you want to hurt people making $10,000, $50,000, $90,000 and hold this up? We can fix what the gentleman said in a negotiation, but don't have people who are every day being hurt by paying thousands of dollars more that they can't afford. I know that the senator from Ohio cares about the billionaires. We care about average working people. I yield the floor.
So just to be clear,
That's wild.
Mr. President.
It's recognized.
So just to be clear, what you heard from the minority leader was the following. I just want to recap it for those of you who might have missed. Number one, he acknowledged that the Democrats have actually not put forward a written proposal that people could look at. Number two, he acknowledged that his plan would be to allow millionaires, let me just say that clearly, people making millions of dollars would receive Biden-era COVID Obamacare subsidies. You heard that right. No income cap. I was going to ask him before he stormed out of the room, because evidently he doesn't want to hear any opposing views or actually engage in meaningful negotiation.
Exactly. And then that's my thing. You literally have Chuck Schumer, you have Hakeem Jeffries always want to say, oh, then we'll negotiate this. We'll talk about this and we'll do this and do that. And you literally have, individuals, different individuals, even Democrats that's constantly going with, different views. Okay, well, look at this. We can do this. We can do that. And they are not liking to hear that, only their way. And that's not it. I'm telling y'all, making everything worse day by day. I'm telling y'all. This is Roger Marshall saying, and again, one thing about this is that I truly don't get, you know, is that you constantly have so many individuals, you know, and I keep on seeing this. You know, I go through the comments on X. You know, I go through the comments on X. I look at YouTube and I look at these different things, and I see so many individuals that's constantly supporting what Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries got going on. Mind you, you know, the others. You know, you see the View, you see this, you see that. You literally have individuals, bro. You literally having individuals that are thinking that this is okay. This is the same thing with the last video I posted with Zoran Mondami. It's not. I'm telling y'all. Check it out.
Let me ask you, will you accept this terrific offer by Chuck Schumer tonight?
No, Laura, that's a non-starter. What Chuck Schumer is asking us to do is to give $25 billion to criminals every year and $35 billion to insurance companies every year. That's what it's costing American taxpayers right now to partially fund Obamacare. So that's a non-starter, and that's why here we are setting. Should we break the filibuster or not? I think that's the conversation that Republicans should be having right now.
Senator, Republicans, especially the more establishment Republicans, are very, very wedded to this idea of holding on to the filibuster with a death grip. Yeah. Given what the Democrats have clearly signaled they're going to do, they're going to pack the court, they're going to make Puerto Rico a state, the list goes on and on. President Trump went through it. Do you believe, given what this country and our people are facing, that it is time for the Republican Party to ditch the filibuster and start doing things for the American people?
Well, Laura, every day that this shutdown goes on, the more I'm convinced we need to end the filibuster. And as I do my math here, the same Democrats that some of my colleagues are counting on to protect the filibuster are the same Democrats who are afraid to come across the aisle and open the government. Just 2 years ago, every senator, Democrat senator that's still in office that's here today, voted to end the filibuster. Unless you can guarantee to me that the Democrats won't do it, then we need to seriously consider it. You know, the only other option I can think of is enshrining it as a constitutional amendment. But this absolutely should be the conversation and the debate today for the Republican caucus.
One thing about it, y'all, you know, is that and I want to say this, and I don't want to make anybody, you know, mad, feel some type of way. I probably feel the same way, but I definitely feel as if they need to, you know, end it. They need to, you know, realize, you know, what, and I know they do, but at the same time, it's one of those things that it's constantly, it's one of those things that constantly just it's getting on your nerves. I know it is. It's getting on your nerves, and it's been making me, you know, pretty mad. It's been making me frustrated on how messed up and how childish, obviously, you know, the left is being, but the American people are constantly hurt by it, you know, and it's not it. I'm telling y'all, it's definitely not it. And I'm seeing, you know, different posts and different comments, you know, each and every day, you know, and it's not right. This is Byron Donalds saying we are 38 days into, you know, Chuck Schumer's government shutdown. 38 days, Schumer and the Democrats have held paychecks for the hardworking Americans hostage and weaponized their their pain for politics. Check it out.
We're day 38 into a shutdown, and still, it's not really clear what the Democrats were looking for. What they were looking for, in my view, was a political advantage for Chuck Schumer, a political advantage for the Democrats. But they've changed their tune like 4 or 5 times now during this entire thing. At the beginning, it was the health care changes that didn't allow blue states to pay for health care for illegal aliens. They realized that was unpopular. Then they switched to NPR, realized that made no sense. Then they started talking about Obamacare subsidies. And now they're talking about trying to get more. After after Tuesday's elections, the expectations around Capitol Hill was that the elections would end, and then we would go and figure out how to reopen the government. And then the word came that Senate Democrats wanted to hold off a little bit longer because they had a good night on Tuesday, and they tried to see if they could get more stuff. This is all politically motivated, and it's become clear that the Senate filibuster is actually not promoting debate. It's actually not promoting bipartisanship. What it's promoting is the Senate Democrats to now politically maneuver. Look, politics, just like markets, rely on incentives. The incentives now going forward are going to be just keep holding out, especially if you're the Democrats in the minority, and they're projected to be in the minority in the Senate for quite some time. Just keep holding out, because at some point, everybody is going to feel pain, and then you just get to sit back and then try to cut some new deal. That's not working for the American people. The inflation that is still hurting, in some respects, our economy, that was unleashed by the Democrats with no Republican votes. Healthcare policy in our country, where premiums have skyrocketed, deductibles have skyrocketed, that was passed through by Democrats with no Republican input. And now they're back saying they need even more subsidies to cover up their irresponsible healthcare policies. That was pushed through by them. Look, at some point, in my view, the next time the Democrats have the trifecta, they are going to get rid of the filibuster. And when they do that, they're going to start moving towards universal health care, which was the original design from Obamacare 15 years ago. That's really where they want to go. They are going to pack the courts. They're going to make D.C. a state. So my view is, let's actually get real policy solutions on healthcare, on energy, on regulatory reform, on real immigration visa reforms. I saw Senator Schmidt the other day called for an end to H-1B visas, and it is a scam. It does need to end. It needs to be completely ended, and there needs to be a bunch of visa overhauls. Do you think Senate Democrats are interested in visa overhauls that actually make sense for the American people and American workers? No, they don't. They're not going to do these things, Maria. We've seen enough, and that's why my position is the way it is.
Telling y'all, definitely seen enough. I'm telling y'all, one thing about it. Says here we must eliminate the filibuster in the madness. I'm telling y'all. And that's what, where a lot of people are. That's where a lot of people are. There are so many people that are, agreeing. I'm seeing a lot of these comments, and one thing about it is that I definitely agree. I truly agree. And that's one thing, that I definitely love, that more and more people are very much so engaged in a lot that's going on. Says here, this post from Senate Republicans, y'all can find it, says even Democrat voters are fed up with Schumer's political games. Check it out, CNN.
I have a very eclectic listening crowd. I'm even having some Democrats who are coming on, and they're seeing through a lot of the minutia of what's really happening, because they can do the math. They notice that there are 55 votes that are voting and to open the government, and they don't see a lot of Democrats on that side. And so they're saying open up the government and open it up now. Chuck Schumer, not Donald Trump.
A lot of people are seeing that, and I've told you over the weeks, that a lot of people, of Democrat voters are looking at that. They're seeing, they're watching. You have so many social media platforms. You have YouTube, you have TikTok, Instagram. You're having Facebook. You're having a lot of videos of individuals like myself, that's constantly that's constantly putting out everything. I'm talking about everything that they're seeing. They're actually paying attention. They're paying attention and engaging into a lot of these, these creators, and they're seeing, and dang, well, they're doing this. They really are truly having this going on, and they're watching everything. I'm telling y'all, and they're noticing what Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries is about. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Catch y'all next one.